Okay, so now for our other featured reader today, Amy MacLennan. As I mentioned during Steve's introduction, Amy was also a part of the wonderful group of Ashland poets that I met and became friends with while attending the Northwest Poets Concord in 2012 and then several years following that. Amy and I have done several events together over the years, including the Poetry is Political, a featured reading and open mic in Corvallis, Oregon in 2015. That was sponsored by Calyx, a fine arts journal and small press dedicated to the work of women artists and writers, as part of National Women's History Month, coinciding with National Poetry Month. Amy was a featured reader at the event, and she invited me to attend, as well as participate in the open mic. I also videotaped it, and it is one of the fine Oregon poetry readings you can also view on my YouTube channel. Of course, I asked Amy to send me a short bio as well, and her bio reads, Amy MacLennan's work has been published in Cimarron Review, Folio, Hayden's Ferry Review, Line Break, Pyrene's Fountain, Poets Market, River Styx, South Dakota Review, Spillway, The Oregonian, The Pedestal Magazine, Windfall, and Wisconsin Review. She is the managing editor of the Cortland Review and a poetry editor for Bone Bouquet. She has published 2 chapbooks, Weathering, Uttered Chaos Press 2012, and The Fragile Day, Spire Press 2011. She has been featured on the Writer's Almanac and in Verse Daily. Her first full-length collection, The Body a Tree, was published by Moonpath Press in 2016, and it was a runner-up for the Poetry Society of Virginia Book Award. So please welcome Amy MacLennan.
So when you're sitting and waiting to read, many thoughts go through your head. First, thank the host. Thank you so much, Stephen. This is such a lovely event to read at. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate it. Thank the venue. Thank you so much, Barnes Noble. They don't have to do this. They're doing this. It's important. And then other things start running through your head, like, I'm seeing old friends. That's lovely. And then you have the fact that you realize you are reading in front of cookbooks. So if you get hungry, it's not my fault. I'm just saying. Anyway, it is a pleasure to read for you tonight, this afternoon, whatever. Oh, also, that was the other thing. Daylight saving time. You're here on time. Woo! That is a good thing. So, we have to read spring poems because it's like almost here. So this first poem is called March Days. Because promises, promises. A bluebird morning followed in a snap by clouds in the shape of a dog from childhood. That St. Bernard with arthritic hips. Clouds that hang in upward vision, waiting to dump a bag of rain when I finally bust out the good shoes. The clouds will cross town, transforming dog to cow, to hunched over tree, to almost the outline of Texas. They will shed themselves for miles. I like to think the water in my hair is the same that beads a stranger a few blocks over to the west. Cotawample. It's a word, it's a thing. You can Google it. And here's the definition of it. To travel purposefully toward an as yet unknown destination. Cotawample. How I wample these days. My steps a wobble, but still selfing with all that I have. I've behinded what I loved, and coddily I heft a sweet space under my ribs as I tramp a slow pace off time. I have no choice. I'll look for some honeyed placed, soon or soonish not, and the cross-stitch sutures in my dinged-up heart will hold. And again, this is so nice. Like, wow, I just read a poem, I get applause. It's nice. I write a lot of poems about bodies, my body, other people's bodies. The collection features a lot of them. This one came later, because now I'm reading the newer stuff. I'll travel back in time, and I will ask you to join me in the travel back. But for right now, this is newish. It's called The Body Not Falling. The body not falling wonders how gravity even exists, when rising seems natural, when breathing pulls it above the syllables of a sleeping lover. The body not falling, still delicate, shatterable, a twist of orange in thin blown glass. It knows the carriages of circulation, heart and lungs, expanding, collapsing, pure rhythms. The body thinks of air on the neck, just brushing the hair, exhalations of another, falling and not falling. Now, this is the poem that I have to take out the bad word, because there is a curse word in here, and I'm replacing it with something that's not a curse word. We'll find out if anybody can figure out what word, or the words. It's like one word being replaced by two, it's toward the end. Okay, and this poem, I like to hike. I like to do outside biking, I like to do outside hiking and snowshoeing. The name of this poem is called Pete's Punisher. It is a decommissioned trail in the Ashland watershed. Name of the trail, I know where it is. If you come to Ashland, I will show you. We just can't tell me one. Pete's Punisher. I don't know who Pete is, but I think he's a jerk. This bushwhack trail on an outdated map makes like a beast after the first turn, straight up, no mercy. Slick in any season, ice in winter, powdered dirt glass in summer. Of course I know it's best to run it up. Light tap of boots, tight mountain goat until sweat flows down my face like November rain, and I'm cursing Pete as I hit another curve. See the next ascent, and it's that weird dream where I'm being chased by monsters and not getting anywhere, just running and running. And is Pete dead or maybe hobbling around on arthritic knees? But my heart rate is jacked. I'm so focused on the burn in my legs and lungs, and don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't. And the end of the trail is close, so Pete, you bad boy, talk to me now about punishment. Let's sit down and breathe, and you can whisper in my ear. It's a really good trail. True story. I had a problem with my left shoulder. This is going back like 3 years ago. It was aching and aching. I did everything. And then I wrote an ode to my left shoulder. Hand to God, the pain went away 2 days later. Anything that goes wrong with my body, I write poems to it now, because I just kind of think parts of my body like that. Ode to my left shoulder. You write love notes to me in the way of pain. A slicing whisper of, I adore you, as I wince when I lift my arm across my chest. You hum a small tone of ache, and when I roll left in bed, you slip me tokens, sharp and ripped. I look for the source. What I do at my desk, how I grab water on a bike, the way I pick up the damn trash. I adjust, and still you sing to me. Sometimes a pang, sometimes the long throb that digs in deep. I'm listening, I say in the dark. You sigh back with bright impingements. I try again. How I grab my purse, the tilt of my head, and you continue to gift me with hurts. I wonder what scares you, what trap you think has snapped. If you're trying to gnaw us free, slowly with devoted teeth and from the inside. Sometimes you just don't come up with a title for a poem. Just no title for this one. It was me. It is May, and the flashing late spring leaves won't care. It was over. It's an open sky, and the sugar sits in a covered bowl, pure and aloof. It was tears. It is tears. And the houseflies flit in to bump the screens. I light candles now. June is coming. It is here. It waits for nothing. The magazines slip in their piles of gloss. In one, I misread egrets as regrets.
Yeah.
I won't look up. Effect. 2 in the morning, soft scrub of his beard grazing my lower back, and I, half asleep, think of a breeze across fielded wheat. I think of effect. Our bodies, marked many times over, faded gash on his left shoulder, glossy stitched line beneath my chin, have learned this on their own. I will sleep soon, and the pillow may leave a crease on my cheek. In the morning, I won't even know it's there. And this is the poem I wrote the first time I traveled through Ashland, thinking I might move there. So we're kind of tucked in between the Cascades and the Siskiyous, between 2 ranges. It's where you think you'll stop, a smallish town. Houses with porches that seem like promise. The 2 of you will cruise through in an afternoon, and the cafe will serve coffee sweet with hot milk. The chairs feel familiar. The tables impossibly smooth. Floors will creak like home. When you walk back to the truck, you'll see a single hawk on a light post and say, luck. And firs on a mountain ridge with silhouettes of couples dancing, you imagine they'll never change. And it is so funny about 3 o'clock in the morning. 3 o'clock in the morning. It's just like, I don't know, I wake up like that. Insomnia. 3 a.m. always smothers you deep. Dull glow of numbers on the nightstand and sweat running down your ribs. These nights are cello suites, unbloomed tulips, weed-clogged creeks. You might reach for something to hold, a small rock shard or seashell piece, and think you might worry out all the edges, imperfections. You go to the fridge for cold water, stand in the inevitable light, see green olives, peach jam, and the lettuce wilted, semi-strewn as a dress balled up on a stranger's floor. If you write a love letter to disappointment, allow brevity, allow sweetness, allow smudged ink. Do not use exclamation points. Do not speak in the third person. Bring your best paper. Tolerate the passage of time. You may drink water, Try not to drink wine. Write alone, but imagine others in the room. Use adjectives if you like, and end sentences with prepositions. Do not repeat yourself. Invite generosity, permit humor, avoid sarcasm, but accept grief. Draft the letter as if you could only write it once. Use a long salutation and a short goodbye. And then this is, I tend to read slow, but then there are some poems I just like click along. This is a click poem. Looking for an oracle. Spool it on out for me. Where to turn left, the bananas to pick, the men to catch, the men to ditch. Tell me when my nails will break and the roof will fail. Tip me to gossips and scratch out phone book names. List out my losses, hearing gone in 10 years, the loves I'll bury. Line them up so I can swallow them all without the coil of worry. Choice never stopped the clots in anyone's veins, or the smooth sky pressing down, and I want my days laid flat, my facts splayed out, a plan, a map, to the last damn chicken bone that sticks in my throat. Here we go. Now I'm getting it from the crowd. This is great. A friend of mine posted this photo on Facebook. It's a thing called kintsukuroi, which is the art of repairing pottery with gold or silver. Kintsukuroi. Imagine the bowl on a table cupping late summer fruit. Think of the tip or knock in pottery once whole, now in shards. It could be 5 pieces, 9, 14. The bowl breaks differently with any given drop. This time, silver patterns the seams like long, slick rivers instead of the jags of a mountain ridge. Imagine our bodies, the shine of 10-year-old scars, knobs of reset bones. Think of the way we fill our crumbling teeth and hold our own gold. We piece our fragments together a new way each time. We repair what we can. Our vessels holding blood and bone make a changed shape, and we long to be more gorgeous with the breakage. And this is true, I do have a heart murmur, but it's fine, totally fine. Murmur. I never thought about it, not in a physical way. I'm young, not so much anymore. My health sound. This heart slogged on, and I only made mention in the breaking sense, after my father's final stroke, or when a good love left. Now I pay attention. My heart murmurs. Murmur. A sexy name for a leak. One doctor said she heard a shh. The other, a snapping second beat. Call it prolapse. Call it floppy valve. I think of it as a whisper, a stream of secrets hissing in my breast. Listen. Listen. Another weird word. Cancellation. It's a word, swear to God. It's an engineering term, having indentations similar to battlements. And it kind of is like a Greek key pattern. Cancellation. On the workbench, grimed up, slightly rusted, a chunk of carved out metal the size of a child's hand. Donut-shaped and jagged. I pick it up, trace the Greek key lines, see the threads inside, a nut for a very big bolt. I ask my friend what it is. A castellated nut, he says, used on very old cars, something to keep a vibrating screw in place. But you can't underturn it. You have to twist and lock, get that turn just right. I've come over to have coffee, a bit tight myself, after a long call with my lover, ex-lover, about how we'll sort things out, who gets what, the cell phone minutes, cheese knives, big screen TV. We were careful, not too harsh, not too delicate. Of course, now I think of us as bolt to nut, the care we'd taken to grease our pairing. We did not mean to strip our threads, but it was a jarring ride, a hard shaking. Our metals broke, tore our castle apart. Here's your 2-poem warning. I stole that from someone, by the way. That's not me. It's like, I'll own my own funny lines. That's not mine. The body in summer, with sinews all syrup and skin sweat licked, seems always outfacing, unfurled, slow spasm of open and want, even hair more eager, twisting out fast to bleach and hold July light. The body in summer, now a boat, small sway in water, afloat of belly and back as it craves melon, tomato, corn warm from the field, and the body knows well the length of the day, tries to think only of coral skies and sure desire, long peel of the naked evening sun. Telegram. After, we sprawl, our arms looped, my foot against your calf, your hand on my thigh, a completed circuit, uncomplicated. As we drift, your fingers start the nerve spasm of sleep. Morse code tap as you passage, a message I do not know how to decipher. I let your dispatch play through me, chains of letters that tell everything you haven't said, so many words strung together, and I can't make sense of them. I am sinking too into a night where we turn and settle our communiques in the form of pulse and slow breath. Before sleep takes me, I imagine a cable to you, each word well chosen, costly. One of us will leave. I will remember my body ached for you like no other. Stop. Thank you so much.
Amy MacLennan. Let's give Amy MacLennan another hand. See what I mean? Now, could you just keep listening to Amy read? I mean, it's just great stuff, huh? Okay, we're going to take a quick break. We'll keep it to a tight, maybe 5 minutes today instead of 10. We're running a little late, so then we'll come back for our open mic. And again, I'd ask you to consider supporting our event by helping support Barnes Noble, buy something at the coffee bar, in the store, whatever. Okay, thank you. See you in a couple minutes.